Hello again everyone. Okay, I think this is probably going to be the final video for today. This is a hardbacked puzzle book. I bought these from the works. They're £1.50 each. All I could find was the crosswords and a word search, but they may have others. It depends on how big your store is, I guess. But I thought they made really nice little gifts to go in stocking fillers and things. Yeah, and it's got that lovely feeling like when you first open a hardback book. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Right, so what you need to make this is, and I've run out of my recycled chipboard, so I had to order some online. So chipboard, from one A4 piece of chipboard, and I've got some bits left, you can get both the back and the front and the spine. So the back and the front both measure 17 times 12.5 centimetres. I'll put that there so you can see it later. And the spine measures 17 by 1 centimetre. Okay. Then for the outer cover, you need a piece, the full width of your scrapbook paper, which is 12 by 12, most people call it, 30.5 by 20 centimetres. The lining that goes on the inside of your book. Anyway, the lining that goes on the inside of your book, which measures 26 by 16.5, and then a little piece of one of your papers to make the pen loop with, and that measures 2.5 by 10 centimetres. Okay, so that's where we're up to so far. Right, I will leave all of these here for you so you can see them. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is stick the chipboard to the outer cover, and basically we'll position it first so we get a fairly even spacing all the way around. And you want about 2mm gap between the front and the back cover and the spine. So that's there or thereabouts. Okay, so I tend to leave them there and just put the glue on and put them back where I had them. So I use a knitted tacky glue. I just decant it into this little bottle because they're very easy to squeeze. So be generous with your glue because the chipboard does tend to absorb it. So place that back where you had it. And press it firmly to your paper. Okay. Now again, be generous with your glue. Just make sure you get it at the edges because we're going to be folding there, so we need it to be nice and stuck down at the edges. Okay, put that back where you got it from. Your 2mm gap. And just gently press it down to the paper for the minute till you get the other bit done. And the same again, make sure you're generous with your glue, but that it is along the edges where we're going to be folding. And then position it back where you got it from. Gently press it into position. And then you're going to use a bone folder or whatever else. I bought these to play around with my clay, then discovered they're great for doing stuff like this. I think they're icing tools when you ice cakes. As always, eBay. I search eBay for everything first before I expand the search. But they're perfect for something this size. They're great for my clay as well. Okay, then turn it over gently so you don't rip your paper. Though this is quite a good quality paper. It's last year's Christmas papers from the works. So I think it was from the works. Okay, so you've got it all nicely stuck down. So now hold it quite tight and make sure it doesn't slide around too much, because we're going to use the chipboard as a guide to bend the paper, just to help it go around the edges. And this is quite thick paper, so it's probably a good idea to hold tight. I chose this because then I can give it to a man or a woman. I like this tartan and the red dots for the inside. Okay, so next thing we do is we're going to cut the bulk out of the corners. Do not cut right up to your chipboard, or you will be able to see the chipboard, but cut it fairly close. I would say go to about 2 mil from that corner. But there is a trick I'll show you. If you do go too far, that will hide the chipboard. Just let me cut these off and I'll show you. Right, what you can do is, if you're not 100% sure, you can stick these corners that you've just cut off into the corners of the chipboard, so that if there are any chipboard pieces showing, they're going to be hidden. Okay, it's always a good thing to get into. It's just I never have, so too late now. Right, with your regular bone folder, go down the very outside of the chipboard and wedge your paper up against it, basically, so that you get that nice sort of hardback book edge. Last one. There we go. Now again, be generous with your glue. It doesn't matter if we're making a mess on the inside of here, because we're going to cover it up anyhow. Just make sure you got plenty on, so it's going to stick down and stay down. I have used double-sided tape for these big projects, but I've got a big 5 centimeter wide roll of tape, so you could use you can get the A4 double-sided adhesive sheets as well. You could use those, but glue works. Glue's just as good as anything else, and it gives you room to move it round if you don't get it in quite the right place, whereas if you're using double-sided tape, either in sheet form or in roll form, you don't have that opportunity. You have to get it right first time, especially using chipboard, because it's strong, but it does tend to flake if you pull it away. Some of the chipboard comes away with it and weakens it. So I prefer the glue for stuff like this. I just like trying different things. Okay, I think that's enough glue on there. Right, again I'm going to use my big icing thing just because it's easier, and I'm going to wedge it up against the edge and then just flip it over. Don't worry if some glue squirts out, the lining is going to cover that. Just make sure it's nice and tight around the edge. Make sure it's nicely glued down. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't know if you can hear the floorboards upstairs above my head. That side. There we go. So nice and tight. Nice tight, wrapped around and nicely stuck down. And just spread your glue out underneath there. Go. Right. Next, your pen band. Okay. I have, so where did I say, your pen loop, 2.5 by 10 by 2.5, sorry. And then I scored it in the back at 1 and 2. This is just to give it a bit of a stronger loop to hold the pen with. So for that, the first crease, the very end bit is quite tight to fold down, so just take your time. And that one will fold back over onto that little crease there. Okay, now you've got the folds done, you can put some glue inside of it. So do the little one first. And then go back in with your bone folder and make sure that's nice and stuck flat. And then cover the other side with glue. And again with your bone folder, make sure that's nicely stuck down. Your glue might lose out, just wipe it away. And that way you can't see where the seam is because it's actually sitting down on the bottom part here. Okay, make sure it's all nicely stuck down, and while the glue is still wet, we're going to wrap it around our pen just to so that it won't crack when we do it later. Okay, it's too long. I deliberately made it too long just to give you, it's only a scrap of paper, it's just to give you enough room to hold it and get the positioning right. Right, the idea with your loop is it's not so tight you can't get the pen out, but it's not loose enough where the pen will just fall out. Any pen works. By Rosa Better, obviously it's a puzzle book. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off about here. Yep. Then while the pen's still in there, I'm just going to put some glue on the ends and seal those together. So that you've got your pen loop there. So it's nice and smooth, it'll easy slide in and out. And because this got a cap, it'll stop it dropping out. There we go. Right, now decide whereabouts you want it in your book. Depends what kind of pen you're using to the balance of it. I think mine will be good there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on that side and that side. I'm going to put it back where I want it. going to make sure it's straight. And I'm just going to leave it sitting there while I put glue on my liner. The important part of the liner is to get the glue around the edge. I think my blade must need trimming. I'm changing. I don't know if you can hear those floorboards. They're horrendous during the night. It's all quiet outside and you get some another wonder. Okay, that's all the glue. Now there isn't a right way and a wrong way with my paper, fortunately. So I'm just going to set that inside with a nice even border all the way around it. And I'm going to get some tissue ready. And first of all, I'm just going to rub around my pen with the tissue, my pen holder, sorry, with the tissue. And I hope the paper's going to stretch. I'll gently tease the paper with my bone folder. What you don't want is the paper to crack. While the glue's wet, you can get away with so, little, but don't go mad. Right, now burnish it down so that it's in position. Then spread your glue out, wiping away any excess that comes out as you go. You could always use this same idea for a big notepad or a stationery set. Put a little pocket in one side and the pad in the other, and put envelopes in the pocket. Okay, now this bit is where we're going to put the spine in. So gently, while the glue's wet, don't walk away and have a coffee once you get this liner on, because you need to work it while the glue's still wet. We're going to go up and down. Your bone folder works just as well. Both sides of the spine. Just to get that paper to stay flat inside the book. Right. You'll have to work it. You need to keep going back in with your bone folder to flatten it out, because it will bubble. And what we're aiming for is a nice tight angle inside of the book where the paper doesn't bubble. You can see where it's bubbled both here and there. Just go in with your bone folder and work it till it flattens out. You see, nice tight angle inside. Same at that side. Now just double check inside, because it has bubbled up a little bit down the spine. Just gently work out those bubbles. Yep, I'm happy with that. Right, you can either stick only the back of the book, of the puzzle book, to the hardcover, or you can stick the whole thing. I did the whole thing here, and I have to admit it makes it quite hard to open. So I think I'm just going to stick the back cover down and leave that as it is. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that bit's easy. I've got a few of these to do, and I may end up using my wide double-sided tape for this, because this is a glossy finish. So I'm not sure how well this glue is going to hold. But it seemed to hold all right on the first one I did, but I did that a week or two ago now, and I can't remember if I used the tape or the glue to do it. So just be generous with your glue. It should be fine. It should be fine because it's going on to paper as opposed to, you know, it's not both glossy surfaces. One side is just matte paper, so it should be good. That might be enough. Right, now you can put your fingers inside the book to keep away from the glue. Close your book over, because you're going to put this up against the spine and then center it on your liner paper. And if you tap it down, it will knock the book into position for you. And then literally just go over the back of the hardcover with your bone folder. And that seems to have set actually, so yeah, maybe the glue's fine. Just going to knock it back down into the spine a bit. There we go. So got a nice tight fit in that spine. Yep. And there you go. Pop your pen in. And there's your nicely covered puzzle book. Okay. Bye.